Purple Rin Penrose is going to destroy you.
Shut up. Hello, welcome to So We're Watching That Right, a podcast where two lesbians bully each other for having the same taste in anime. I'm Becky, scientifically certified best girl.
And I'm Val, everyone's favorite harem protagonist.
I have to start us off talking about the big, sensational event of week 2 of the season, which is Turkey, Time to Strike. So when the first trailer for this show dropped, it was a cute show about girls in a high school club. It's a bowling club. They're clearly, doing girls' club anime things. They're competing. They keep losing. They need to get a win to keep the club alive. And I thought, that looks cute. I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm. And I went, that looks cute, but not my thing. I'll let you watch it.
Yes. And then last week, the second trailer dropped, and also the first episode. And all hell broke loose. I'm not going to walk through the trailer, but I have to summarize the episode. Because I really can't offer any more explanation of what has happened with this show than this. So the episode starts, and sure enough, they are a high school bowling club. Their team is competing. There's only 5 of them. They lose. After the loss, the team's kind of sulky first-year ace has a go at the club president, who's the main character, saying, "You keep losing on purpose. You're doing this deliberately." I have no idea where she gets that idea. That hasn't been expanded on. But she says she's going to leave the club. And the other 4 girls are then walking home, talking about what to do to keep the club alive. And they pause next to a building site, and one of them says, "Wasn't this a used bookstore 2 days ago?" And whether or not it was, now it is a building site. And there's a JCB digging a foundation trench. And the main character notices something glimmering at the bottom of the trench. And then they go to find the girl who's left the team and make another attempt to persuade her to stay. She is, of course, back at the bowling alley. And she challenges the club president to a one-on-one match. If the club president wins, then she'll rejoin the team. And the club president doesn't win, has exactly the same pattern of playing well and then making a mistake as in the match at the start, and then decides to throw one more ball. And a storm has broken outside, and lightning strikes the object that was in the trench, which is revealed to be some sort of ancient stone bowling ball. At which point, the president's ball starts glowing and carrying her away, and all her friends grab onto her to try to stop her getting carried away, and they are all carried down the bowling lane and through the gate at the end, whereupon they wake up. Well, actually, then it cuts to credits, and then they wake up, or the club president at least wakes up, and looks up and finds that she is on what appears to be a medieval Japanese battleground of some sort. There's nothing else. There's one other thing, which is that she's got some sort of hang-up around her parents, who are the reason that she got into bowling in the first place. And I realised as I was making show notes for this that it might be that her parents disappeared because they got abducted by the evil magic bowling ball. And she's going to find them fighting in Oda Nobunaga's army or something.
Hey, hon, this is fucking wild.
It's so wild. What the hell is happening?
This is always the risk with anime originals. Because they can just lie to you about what the show is going to be.
Yep, and it rules. I love it. I'm so chuffed. I can't wait for tomorrow's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, in other things that started airing this week, we have The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, although technically that did start airing last week.
It sure did, but
do you want to explain the absolute pain in the ass of being able to watch this?
So, Netflix has picked up The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, and I was looking forward to it. I enjoyed the manga, and I read a few volumes, and then I was like, oh, this is getting an anime, I'll watch the anime. So I haven't watched or read further, but I'm looking forward to it, because it's a very huge series. And Netflix picks it up, which they've been doing this for a while. You would figure they would know better than to go, no, you're not getting any subtitles until the end of the season. But they did that. And then a few days later, it gets English subs in the Southeast Asian region and or Japan. So if you're using a VPN, you can watch it with English subs on Netflix. I'm not going to bother using a VPN for that, but we are watching the show now.
Yeah, extremely goofy arrangement.
It drives me up a wall because we're also watching a different show on Netflix this season, which they are releasing weekly on time in the US and other English-speaking countries. It's The Summer Hikaru Died, and like every time they do this, they get pushback. I don't know what they're doing every time. Like, oh, grumble, grumble, grumble.
Yeah, it's very annoying. But we can watch it now, and that's good because, like, it sure does seem to be very cute. I have only seen the one episode so far.
Mm-hmm.
The height difference in this is so absurd.
Yeah, like, to the point where he's considered, like, a giant in the high school. Like, some of the subtitles call him, like, the blonde giant. Because he's a really tall boy, even for a high school boy. And she is so short that he thinks she's a middle schooler.
Yeah. Like, the height difference here is possibly even bigger than Uzaki-chan.
Yeah.
And, like, the whole thing is, he's a sweetie, but he looks super scary.
Mm-hmm.
And he's quite prepared to act super scary to, like, protect his bros, which is cool. Like, he's clearly, like, a decent and a courageous sort.
Yeah, he is a good boy.
He's also, like, deeply, deeply wounded about how much everybody assumes that he's a thug.
Mm-hmm. There's some stuff that might get hit by the time the end of this season that goes into that. But, like, I am really fond of all of his friends when they get some time to shine.
That's cool.
And also his mom has a moment that is going to be really nice if we get to that in the show. If not, I'll tell you about it after the season's over. But yeah, it's really adorable. His mom runs a cake shop.
Yes.
And he works there part-time sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, there's another thing I was going to say. Oh, that's right. Like, the thing that really, like, gets him about the girl is that she completely refuses every opportunity to judge him by his appearance and even defend him in situations where she's under threat. And then the next day he's at school and he looks out the window across the way. Like, he goes to basically a school for delinquent boys. And he looks out the window across the way at the school for posh girls. And she opens the curtain and looks out and sees him.
And he hides behind a curtain.
He hides behind the curtain. It's so cute. In the ending animation, they make, like, gingerbread models of the schools, and then she's, like, surreptitiously pushing the school buildings closer together.
Mm-hmm. It's really sweet.
It's that level of cute.
It is so sickly sweet. It is going to be like that. I can't wait for the aquarium date.
Oh my god. Let's go.
It's going to be good.
Anyway, another show that has, like, a fairly big height difference and also isn't as sweet as it could have been, which we decided we would try, is Solo Camping for Two.
Yeah, I think...
And this one has a really old anime man in. He's, like, in his 40s or maybe even his 50s.
Yeah, he is definitely, like, at least older 30s. And I don't know, like, I feel like there's a timeline where this premise could work.
Absolutely.
It's not the one we got.
Yeah. Like, the problem here is that, you know, there's this long introduction of the guy, which is him, like, doing his journey out into the wilds to start camping and how much he loves camping and everything, like, profoundly spiritual that he likes about camping. And then she's just a rom-com girl.
Yeah.
And not even a particularly nice one.
Yeah.
And then you looked up the manga and found that as abrasive as she is in this, she's been toned down.
Yeah, apparently. Like, I'm not gonna read the manga because I'm not that interested in it, but, like, apparently she is worse or is going to get worse. In the review I saw of the manga, that was just like, yeah, if you can put up with 15 chapters of her being awful before the author realized that she needed to have a personality that people liked, and it's just like, oh, I don't have the energy for that.
Yeah.
And also the age gap of 20 to 34 is a bit much.
Anyway, also starting this week, what's the full title of this one?
Dealing with Mikadono sisters is a breeze.
Right, yes. So the first 10 minutes of this...
It's not that long. It's like the first third or a quarter, but it feels that long. It
fucking felt like 10 minutes.
I know.
It's just a scene of this boy. We're introduced to this boy in a boxing match that he clearly doesn't want to be in, getting the shit kicked out of him with apparently the whole school watching, and his opponent lecturing him on like how much he fails to live up to the values of the school, which he has already said he doesn't care about, and you know, he has no pretensions to status, and he like all of them have placed unreasonable expectations on him without any, just because of who his mother is. God, it was hard to watch, truly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the three girls who are the Mikadono sisters show up, and they're also beastly to him at first. And it's also not okay how much they are targeted at our weaknesses on this podcast personally. I take that personally. I'm mad. I'm so mad.
Yeah, she's very mad. Meanwhile, I'm just like, hell yeah. More ammo to throw at my wife.
It's true. They're also very firmly your strike zone.
Okay, but I can deal with that. You can't.
Anyway, it ends up turning out that he is going to be rooming with these girls. And when he turns up to, like, take up his room, they assume he's there to rob them, and they start beating him up. And the moment he gets a word in edgewise, he notices that they are complete slobs at home, despite being, like, the three princesses of the school and, like, wildly talented and excellent and so on. And he cleans up in seconds, and he spends the next episode and a half trying to get them to eat better. And he is so put together about domestic management that truly he deserves at least to be considered prince-level talent for that. He works so hard to be a good carer for these three shithead girls.
Yeah. And they are all acting so normal about it, I promise.
I can't decide whether to refer to them as Fighty Spice, Gamer Spice, and Purple Spice, or just Scary Spice, Baby Spice, and Posh Spice. But that's what they are. There's a small, highly strung one who does martial arts. There's a super smart one who plays games and mostly plays shogi on her phone. And then there's the eldest sister who is unreasonably hot and is like a model or owns businesses in modeling.
Incorrect.
No, what's
she's a theater kid.
Oh right, sorry. Yes, she's a theater kid.
She's in drama.
That's right.
She's in a drama troupe.
Right. Yeah, she is in drama, and her gap moe trait is that she's a picky eater, and like the second episode is entirely him trying to figure out how to get her to accept him cooking healthy meals for her because she lives on dietary supplements, and it takes until she's been really, really sick for a few days and refused everything healing that he's cooked for her to finally admit that there are lots and lots of things she doesn't like.
Yep.
She's purple Hoshimachi Suise. I'm doomed.
Yeah. And, well, I like purple. I am inoculated against purple side effects. So the fact that she's purple is nice. This is not causing me any problems.
You'll get yours.
Oh, I'm sure you'll try. You'll try and get me with something.
Anime will get you with something.
I don't know about that. It's been trying for 15 years.
It's gotten you multiple times.
You don't have any proof.
Well, actually, to be fair, it's mostly light novels that actually get you. Points at Yuritama. Anyway, let's move on to Watari-kun's blank is about to collapse again. Which is another one that is sometimes genuinely uncomfortable watching. Like, big tangent, bear with me. So, I think a lot about utopia and dystopia. You know, we live in a media culture that has a lot of dystopias and almost no utopian stories. And what I've realized recently is that comedy, romantic comedy, and I think particularly Japanese high school comedy is generally pretty utopian. Like, normally these are characters who don't have any worries about access to the means of survival. They live comfortable, kind of middle class or even upper middle class lives generally, and all the drama is coming from their personal relationships, which, you know, they're set up so that you don't think about that aspect because they want to get to the comedy. What I think makes Watari-kun an interesting show is that it is very much not that. Literally, this second episode, starts with this, 15-year-old boy and his, I forget, they do say how old the sister is.
10.
10. She's 10. His 10-year-old sister literally getting made homeless. And it's not clear how long they're kicked out of the house for, but my reading was that they spend the night homeless, and then the next morning, Watari goes back to the house to beg the aunt to let them back in.
I think it's the same day, but it's a little vague in the anime.
Anyway, Watari and his sister have this really pathological traumatic attachment to each other. In this episode, he discovers that she's hiding her good test results so that she can kind of force him to tutor her because she is hugely codependent. And like, none of the other characters are okay in the show either. The aunt isn't okay. Like, it's made very clear that part of the aunt's hostility to him is hostility to his father that he's serving as proxy for. And then there is the mystery of the childhood friend character, the blonde, who might have revealed in this episode that she's been stalking him for 6 years while he thought she was elsewhere.
Perhaps.
Like, I have this brewing theory that to make a teen comedy, to make any serious story about any story about teens that has any weight, you have to incorporate something that is basically a horror story underneath. And Blondie in this is the horror story component. She's terrifying and doesn't respect his boundaries at all. He's extremely up in his business. And the girl at school that he's got a crush on, who is purple-haired but still hasn't done anything purple, like, she's trying so hard. She's obviously got a thing for him too. And she's trying so hard to do, like, normal love interest things. And it's absolutely not going to work because the childhood friend character is the kind of anime character who, when he gets sick, turns up in his bed later that day, having brought him anal suppository cold medication. Because she remembers that when he was 10, that was what worked best on him. No, he was not in contact with her when he was 10. That's after they had the falling out.
She remembers from back when they were besties, though. That wasn't, she manifested this through stalking him or anything. Like,
okay.
Your memories of the timelines of a lot of things are a little off.
But anyway, like, it's bad, it's scary, but it is also at times very, very funny. And I'm really interested to see how it plays out, its logic of this horrible situation that this kid's in, and what its idea of healing will look like, which is presumably going to be something to do with gardening.
We'll see.
Anyway, speaking of blonde extroverts with no respect for the boundaries of people they love...
They just really handed us that segue.
Yeah. Let's talk about There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless... Which, I mean, the thing we have to say about this is that episode 2 of this ends with the blonde extrovert, persuading Reina to get in the bath with her, and then forcing multiple kisses on her, and maybe fondling her boobs. Like, it's strongly implied that that's what happens. And, you know, Reina explicitly says she doesn't want that.
And has been saying that, though, like, the entire premise is based on her not wanting any physical intimacy like that. Yeah, I came away from this episode a lot more conflicted than I went into it, which, for the one explicitly Yuri harem rom-com show, probably this year, let alone this season, not great. Like, we've been assured that, like, that's a whole thing that they're going to deal with as the show goes on, but also it's not helped by the weekly pace.
Yeah.
Kind of making that what it hangs the the parting note on for the week.
I think it's worth saying that the episode ends with Reina thinking, man, we had such a good day together today, and this kiss is going to overshadow it all and kind of change the meaning of the day. So I do think the show is at least giving it some weight.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, they did have a really fun day up to that point, and indeed they'd had a fun week up to that point. You know, this episode starts with the first day that Mai actually shows up to school in friend mode rather than girlfriend mode, and Reina, being Reina, immediately invites her to come over to her house to play co-op video games. Mai turns out to be a quick learner and really enjoys shooting zombies.
Yep.
And comes in the next day in girlfriend mode and asks to come over again, and Reina doesn't feel able to say no. And Mai challenges Reina to a fighting game that Reina owns and beats her, because despite having never played video games until the previous day, that night she bought a console and learnt the fighting game overnight.
Yep.
Because, I mean, utopia, right? Rich kids. There is a very good scene where, as Reina and Mai are arriving at the house, Reina's mom is coming out, and Reina's mom is somewhat impressed with Mai. And Reina's forfeit for losing to Mai at the fight game is to hug her. And the hug gets through to Reina that Mai is serious about her. And they do have some very thoughtful and open communication in a couple of scenes later in the episode where they talk about that, including in the bath right before Mai ruins it all.
Yep.
Like, when these two actually kind of switch into introverts hanging out and talking mode, they talk really well. It's just that then Mai flips back and is a greedy monster for a while. And like, that bath moment comes at the end of a day where they've gone and hung out as friends, and they go to a VR experience and have a lot of fun and debate whether... So Reina says something that I think is a really powerful thought for this show at that time. Like, they have the VR experience, and then afterwards they're debating whether it would have been more or less fun if they'd been doing it as a couple. And Reina says, look, if we were a couple, we'd have been way more self-conscious. We wouldn't have been able to get lost in it the way that we did. And I think setting that around a VR game is particularly clever.
It's also like a really meaningful distinction for me in particular in a lot of ways, because of, you know, we're poly. We're dating multiple people. It's not like we're against dating more people, but it's like there is a line that at some point you have to draw what you're going to call whoever you're spending time with, and whatever makes you most comfortable. And your brain's going to have certain expectations for like when you're talking to them, when you're hanging out with them. And it's an important line to draw, especially for these girls who are disasters in puberty.
Yes.
So I like that discussion as well.
Yeah. And also, while they're out and about, Mai keeps getting stared at because she's really pretty. And Reina goes full on like protective boyfriend for a minute, and that's great. Like, there's chemistry there, but the reaction is still unstable. And speaking of unstable,
every character in
getting better at these segues.
Yeah.
Let's talk briefly about Bad Girl, which, you know, the pet play thing, the dog collar and dog ears thing from the first episode is not going away.
It's really not.
That's just going to keep coming up. And to its credit, the show did actually use the word pet play. Fun fact, in another Discord earlier this week, I was treated to a fairly careful drawing of the line between pet play and pup play. Those are very different things.
Yep.
But also there are degrees and degrees of pet play, and what happens in Bad Girl is that the main character looks up pet play online and goes to space.
She sure does.
She has found porn. And then when she's talking about doing pet play with the discipline committee girl that she's got a crush on, the discipline committee girl is imagining, like, let's pretend you're a pet, kind of fairly childish games. And the protagonist is imagining like fully
A
censored
different
sex
kind
stuff.
of heavy petting.
Yes. Then it turns out that the discipline committee girl also volunteers at a local nursery, which is the nursery she used to go to. So the protagonist goes along to help and gets so bullied by all the kids, because of course she does. They have a fan club for discipline committee girl, and they don't want the protagonist getting too close to her until she proves her worth. Then there's an elaborate sequence where the protagonist and her best friend who's in love with her scheme for the protagonist to get discipline committee girl's phone number, because she can't just ask her, and also she can't just, like, Blondie could just tell her and doesn't. And so they come up with all these wild schemes, many of which are illegal, and the protagonist can't execute on any of the schemes, but she gets the phone number anyway because life is easy for this girl. As it should be, she deserves the world. And speaking of girls who deserve the world, I'm knocking them out.
That's a stretch.
That's 3 strikes in a row. That's a turkey. That's a callback.
No, Turkey was how we started the show.
I'm doing a callback. It's comedy.
No.
We're an entertainment podcast. You told me to list this as entertainment.
I thought you weren't a commeedian.
I'm training.
Yeah,
Don't
you're learning
don't
well
you
from
fucking
me.
dare. No. We're not doing that bit again.
No, it's a callback, you see.
Speaking of girls who deserve the world,
Hi.
and also protagonists who cannot hold a scheme, which is the segue I originally wrote, we have Cultural Exchange with the Game Center, episode 2, in which a lot happened. But the core of the episode is that Lily coincidentally is befriended at school by Renji's sister, and Renji learns about this without his sister learning that he has technically confessed to Lily.
Yeah.
And she has technically confessed to him. And very clearly at school, Lily gushes about her Game Center paramour a lot. And Renji's sister points out that it would be creepy for him to date a middle schooler. And also can't believe that anybody would like Renji that much. And Renji, to avoid getting in trouble with his sister, puts on a disguise when Lily and Aoi go to the game center together. And he puts on a disguise of, like, a really kind of greasy gangster type, honestly.
Yeah, he does, but also he's specifically, like, mimicking, like, the manly koala that Lily likes.
And that Lily thinks is really cool.
Yeah. Lily immediately sees through this, but does not actually use his name at any point within earshot of Aoi.
Not until right near the end.
Yeah.
And then Aoi is fully taken in, does not recognize her own brother at all, and is like, oh my god, Lily's dating a really dangerous guy. She tries to get Lily to be less openly affectionate and kind of be cold with him in an attempt to, like, tempt him or lure him. And Lily does the cold act, runs around the corner, and then almost cries because it's so hard for her to be cold.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very good girl.
She is.
We also get Renji meeting Lily's mum out with Lily at the shops, and Lily hides because she doesn't want Renji to see her when she's not dressed up cute for him.
Adorable.
Despite the fact that she's dressed up cute. But also her mother lets slip that she's always cuddling the plushie that Renji got for her in the first episode.
Yeah.
Then Lily and Aoi see some older girls flirting with Renji in his disguise, and Lily gets so mad that she attacks him.
She shoves him, yeah.
And then she feels really bad about it, and he's really worried, and Lily and Aoi work together to learn how to make apology muffins and give some to Renji. And also, like, so it's established that Lily is struggling with Japanese, but that she's doing her best.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the episode, she's able to write him, so they have this diary that they're passing back and forth, and he's writing in English and she's writing back, and this time she's written in Japanese to apologize, and she's not sure what to do about how jealous she got when she saw these older girls talking to Renji. And he suggests that they spend some time together when he's outside of his work, which she takes as him asking her on a date because she's a menace.
Yes.
It's great.
It's also, I mentioned this when we were watching the show. So Lily is played by Sally Yamaki, who is bilingual fully. Her mom is played by a Japanese woman whose talent is English because she apparently spent 1 year in high school in England, which is really funny to me, and I can't qualify that.
I mean, immersion learning is a very, very good and durable way of learning a language, but it definitely shows that she's a much less fluent English speaker.
Yeah.
And they do, a lot of the time, she speaks Japanese in the show. A lot more of the time than Lily/Sally Yamaki does.
And when they cut away to just like her and Lily talking, there was that scene where they were talking about stuff, and they were both just talking in Japanese.
Yes.
I think we talked about this as well, but I think Lily specifically is having trouble pronouncing things in Japanese.
Yeah.
And she's better at writing stuff and listening. So she can like comprehend what he's saying, but she can't respond in kind without their shared diary.
Yes. So it is more symmetrical language-wise than maybe it seemed in the first episode. Anyway, I don't have a cool segue. The streak is over. Moving on to Secrets of the Silent Witch, episode 2. This episode starts by coming for me with knives out, because it starts with the protagonist of this show, a flashback of her as a child being given a measuring tape and then just running around the house measuring everything, which is exactly a thing I did when I was a kid. I was thrilled to get a tape measure. Tape measures were so fun. Tape measures still fun.
I'm just, yeah, I looked at that and I went, wow, she has the autism. And you went, oh no.
She's me. She did make a friend this episode.
Yeah.
It was awkward and probably a product of the friend also being kind of outcast because the friend's parents are nouveau riche. And so all the like noble kids at the school look down on them. This has very quickly turned into like a high school comedy, by the way, which is fine. We also learned that her familiar, that's a cat, can turn into a human, which he does in order to help her practice saying thank you. And even that is so overwhelming for her that she ends up with the cat chasing her around the room, demanding that she say thank you.
Yep.
And a bunch of plot stuff happened. We met the prince. There was an assassination attempt, and also a flower pot nearly fell on him out of nowhere, which may or may not have been an assassination attempt. And like he was seen skulking around, and she saw him skulking around, and she was able to recognize him not because she saw his face, but because apparently his body proportions conform to the golden ratio. And then she has to give an entire lecture with a chalkboard to the prince to explain how she was able to recognize him. And the prince's bodyguard thinks that she's an accomplice to the assassin. And so in order to prove that she's not, she is dispatched to find the assassin.
Yep.
Which she's manifestly not competent to.
Yeah, but she'll struggle through it. Probably.
Yes, this is a very good girl doing her best show.
Yep.
And the cat says something unforgivable about philosophy.
Yeah, that we got our episode title from.
Yep. Because we couldn't just use a line from Dress Up Darling 2 weeks in a row.
Thank you, Nero. You're such a little gremlin.
He is. It's good. Anyway, see you tomorrow at the food court. We literally just watched this an hour ago. This episode, Yamamoto wins Wada the prize she wants out of a crane game after she spends like 3,000 yen trying to get it. Yamamoto wins it on the first try. And then we get some real good lesbian stuff. Wada sees Yamamoto talking to a boy and gets super mad and goes on this massive rant about how boys suck. And then Yamamoto says, oh, that was my manager. I was trying to like get my shifts rearranged so that I could spend more time with you.
Yep.
We get a discussion of when they cry. Yamamoto apparently cries really easy at pets in movies, whereas Wada has apparently only cried 3 times since infancy.
Yep.
Which, I don't know what to make of that. It's fascinating. And there is this great moment where So Yamamoto is talking about some of the things she struggled with when they were in middle. Wada explains this whole fight she had with a friend from middle school as a way of like broaching the topic of their backstory and how they met. And Yamamoto talks about some of the stuff she went through in high school, where she was like hot and therefore popular, but also everybody hated her and stuff. But at one point she says something like, "Remember that one really hot boy in our middle school?" And without hesitation, Wada says, "All the boys were ugly." And I'm like, I know what you are, girl. I don't know if we'll get there in the show, but I know what you are. And again, it's a delight to watch this show.
All the boys are ugly except I have this gotcha husbando.
Well,
but as we know,
he's a 2D boy. 2D and 3D are completely different, as we know.
As we know. This is known.
Yes. Then we had April showers bring May flowers. Would you like to read out the quote that I put in the notes?
Oh Lord, Kimi ni Todoke, but I don't know where it's going.
Said as the popular boy and the popular girl institute a class bowling trip to which they're going to drag the protagonist. And the popular girl is being really friendly with the protagonist, and the protagonist can't stop staring at her. And then the popular girl starts arranging a bunch of like moments for the main character to have with the boy. And it turns out she thinks that they're already secretly dating. And when she denies that, it becomes very clear that the popular girl also has a crush on this boy. And they really could just be a trio. Like, the vibes are all there.
Mm-hmm. They won't be, but
yeah,
girls can dream.
Yeah. And then the second half of the episode, her parents take her out for a birthday lunch, and they get to the restaurant and they sit down, and then he shows up at their table because this is the restaurant where he works part-time.
Yep.
And he's covering someone's shift. And then the parents ask him to do their grilling for them at the table as an excuse to get to grill him. And then his best bro sits down at the next table, and the parents start trying to adopt him too. And they're very impressed that the girl has such like cool friends at school. And they flat out ask both boys if they have girlfriends. And bro is married to judo. Like, a title card pops up on screen saying, no, he's married to judo. The main boy looks directly at the main girl and says, I don't have a girlfriend.
and he continues to stare at her.
Mm-hmm. And the parents
processes what he just said.
The parents kind of pick up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they let slip that it is the main character's birthday. And both boy and bro manage on the spot to rustle up birthday gifts.
Yo.
And she gets really embarrassed and ends up finding out what their birthdays are and promising to do things for their birthdays.
But is embarrassed because they're both over school breaks. So it's not like she'd have to go out of her way to do stuff like that.
It's lovely though. It's like I think they could be a quad with bro as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to see how big this polycule can get, because it seems like it's going to be a show about a bunch of kids in school realizing that they do actually care a lot about one another, and that they aren't going to engage in all the bullying that they think each other's going to engage in.
Yeah.
And then we have Dress Up Darling Season 2, Episode 2, which picks up right where the last one left off, with Gojo and Marin being asked whether they're dating, and all hell breaking loose, because Gojo panics and is like, no, meaning I don't deserve her, and Marin takes it really hard. And then a drink gets spilled all over him.
No, he spit out his drink at the reaction, and that's why they gotta dip out.
So they dip out, and he goes to the bathroom to clean his costume, and she's kind of sat outside feeling sad that he said no, and two kind of sinister looking guys come up to her and start acting really intimidating, and he sees this and jumps in to defend her in the most subby way possible. Where he's like, whatever fun you're trying to have with Marine, please have it with me instead. And it turns out that the two guys are Marin's stylists.
Yeah.
One of whom is very highly strung and is furious with her for how like ratty her hair is getting.
Yep. And also that she's not wearing more because it's getting cold because it's Halloween.
Oh, yeah, he scolds her about that too.
Because she's in a full bunny girl outfit at this point.
Yes. And then she's so, like, moved and grateful to him for stepping in, even though she wasn't being threatened, that she kisses him on the cheek through his costume. But all he hears is the sound, and it sounds to him like she's tutting him, and she's mad at him for humiliating her in front of her stylist. Because they do know how to turn the screw.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, then Marion gets sick, presumably because she was out in a bunny girl outfit on Halloween. And Gojo's at school sending her messages asking if she's okay and fucking losing his mind when she doesn't reply. So he skips school to go and look after her and wins all the boyfriend prizes. And then, like, it's very clear that he's going to get sick because when her friends come to visit, he hides on her balcony and it's really cold. But it just skips his illness, I guess, because they already did him being ill in the first season. And it cuts to the next cosplay event that they're at, and they're at an aquarium. And they meet a crossplayer. And Gojo has a truly normal one about how good this crossplayer's crossplay is and how feminine he manages to look. Particularly when said crossplayer shows them a photo of a cosplay he did where he has enormous boobs. And the episode ends with him explaining, look, you can equip boobs, and would you like to go and see my boobs? And Gojo continues losing his shit, but Marion is so up for it.
Marion goes, let's go see them boobies, is the exact line that she shouts at the end of the episode.
This show rules so hard.
It's really good.
Then there's Betrothed to My Sister X, which we're still not sure about. I think you're colder on it than I am.
Yeah, I'm looking at how much shit we're watching this season, and I'm going, this is lower on the priorities than anything else that we're still watching, I think. Like, it's a little heavy with, like, the abuse stuff. And a little weird with the Orientalist stuff. And both of those, combined with how many shows we're trying to watch right now, make me go, this is cute, but I don't know if we have time for it that I wouldn't rather spend on something else.
That's fair. I think I want to keep watching it, and I might do that on my own, because I am really interested to see whether it actually follows through on the abuse stuff.
Yeah.
Like this episode, she says she wants to go back and check in with her family, and he says, no, I'm not going to let you do that because of how they've treated you. And then his excellent maid starts the process of trying to help her realize just how mistreated she's been. Like, it's not that it's frivolous about abuse. You know, some part of it is clearly trying really hard to deal with this, but it is also still a rom-com. He tells her he's in love with her, and she can't believe it no matter how clearly he says it. And also, there's a brief flashback scene where he is, you know, after he has met her for the first time and come home, he has a body pillow that just has Anastasia's life on it from the time where he thought her name was Anastasia. It doesn't have a picture of her on, as far as we could tell. It just has those words on it. And the excellent maid also, like, bullies him for his moping, which is very good. So we'll see with that one. It might not feature heavily in next week's episode.
Yeah, it's not that I don't think it will be enjoyable. I just think, like, I'm fine with continuing to watch it. I just don't think it's going to be, like, I think unless it does something really stupid and really horrendously Orientalist, we're probably not going to have much to say about it. And it's taking up time on the podcast.
Yes, which is tight.
Yeah. It's not so much like a problem I have, so much as damning with faint praise and limited time.
Yeah. So the summer Hikaru died continues to escalate. We had a rare moment of me actually being smart and spotting something, which is there's a shot where the, like, paranormal investigator character is drinking tea and talking to some locals in a ceremonial room of some sort. I forget what it is. And there's a map on the wall of the town, and the dregs in his teacup form the same shape as the map. But the main events of this episode are the kids go for a walk in the woods, and Yoshiki sees a yokai in the forest, and Hikaru, not Hikaru, but the creature that now looks like Hikaru, saves him and then tells him, you should look only at me. Don't look at anything else, just look at me. Which is partly because, apparently, if you look at the yokai, that draws them to you. But also, it's clearly not just that, as you put it.
This is boy-uri.
Which is distinct from yaoi. And then... I'm just going to say there is a scene of full chussy fisting, and Yoshiki compares the experience to touching raw marinated chicken. It is captivating and unsettling to watch. The animation quality here is really good enough to sell it. And in the background is every adult in the show just clearly having a huge amount of baggage around things that they did in the past with whatever is fucked up in the forest. Meanwhile, we are watching this absurdly goopy and deeply intimate encounter between these two boys. So I see why this show and this kind of story have the reputation that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Try to pick up the pace a bit. So there's episode 2 of With You in the Rain, where we meet the lady's next door neighbor. Well, a next door neighbor who is a child, whose name is Key Ella Kraus. I don't know what they were going for with that.
I don't know either.
She has a Shiba Inu that is kind of aggro and has a go at the tanuki. A lot of this episode is this kid trying to insist that the main character is sweet and the main character denying it, in part because she spends this episode avoiding her dad. There's some hurt between them, but the dad wants to meet her new dog and is eventually persuaded to accept that the tanuki is a dog and then goes and plays with the dog and the Shiba from next door in the park and actually gets the Shiba to accept the tanuki. There's a whole bit about how you can't photograph the tanuki. The tanuki can clearly detect when it's about to be photographed and flee.
Go full cryptid.
Go full cryptid, yeah. And her mum wants photographs and gets fed up of waiting and comes to visit to see the dog, and they have a bit of a heart-to-heart. I mean, it's still just that lovely, kind of gentle, soft tone.
Yeah, it's
healing that this incredibly hot woman needs.
Yeah, it's leaning pretty hard on the Yashike vibe right now. Not much else going on. It's cute, but
yeah. Speaking of not much going on, Chuhai Lips, episode 2, which clarifies that this is not like an older woman show, because the second woman that he gets it on with is a kohai from his old high school club, who apparently has carried a torch for him forever.
Yeah,
and is now married, but talks her way around to his house, and it's really, really hot, so she gets undressed, and she gets him undressed, and they get it on. I will say there's some really artful cinematography to show her, like, jacking him off without showing so much as a micron of peen.
Yeah.
It shows her hands very clearly wrapped around his thing.
Yeah, no, the thing that kills me is when the convenience store jingle plays when she takes off his pants. Still the funniest fucking thing in the world. I was losing my shit for an hour after that.
Good.
What a fucking show. Oh yeah, also, yeah, it is specifically married women. That's why it's called a canned flavor of married women.
Yeah, but like, that could mean it's specifically like MILFs. And it's not MILFs.
They made a decision with the title, and it was married women.
Anyway, she gives him that, like, put ice cubes in your mouth and then give him a blowjob thing. And every time I see that, I'm like, does that really feel good? I know it's super hot, and like the weather that of the scene is super hot, and they're melting, but I don't think that cold genitals is a good feeling. Probably
something to avoid.
Anyway, that's all there is to say about 4 minutes of softcore porn. We had Detectives These Days Are Crazy, which, to its credit, has... Once it had established that the detective is old, hasn't gone back to that well very often.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, we get a case where a classmate of the girls claims to have seen a ghost and has set up this fake ghost apparition. in order to get to spend time with her, basically. And she gets progressively more... He's got a camera set up in the alley that the ghost appears on, he tells them. And they're camping out in his room, waiting to see the ghost, and then she will dash out to try to catch the ghost. And her strategies for getting from the bedroom to the alley get more and more absurd as that story goes on. And eventually the detective figures out that the video is fake and there is no ghost. And then she comes back having caught a real ghost. Because, of course, that's, like, this girl is Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I love her so much. Then we got a storyline about someone, for some reason, framing the detective for stealing underwear.
I don't think it was intentionally. He just he just looks a lot like him, except for his lips. And he was unfortunate enough to have his lips covered in the shot that got him arrested. That fucking bit was so dumb.
Yes, it was.
It was like a third of the episode.
Yeah, it was. It was very dumb. It was quite funny still. We got to see the police inspector who arrested him and was questioning him was an old school friend. So we got some kind of backstory on him. And then the third part was just about her ability to, like, kick things really far and with lots of ricochets to accomplish her ends. It was literally just she had to detain a guy, so she took him out by kicking a soccer ball and it bouncing off every surface in the world and then hitting him. And then she had to do the same with a bomb that she found because she couldn't defuse it.
Yep.
She was like, yeah, I'll just defuse the bomb. I'll open it up. There'll be a red wire and a blue wire. And statistically, you cut the red wire because that's the safe one. And she opens it up and there's like a kajillion wires.
Yeah. And then the flunky that she got died.
Well, maybe. Finally, for stuff we watched together, new stuff that we watched together is episode 2 of Mynoghra, which, you know, it's hard to know whether this one's going to really pay off as a watch, but I did like that. So he has identified himself as the leader of the evil faction, and they persuade the elves who are unaffiliated to sign up with them. And when they sign up with him, they become evil. And that actually makes a difference to how they are. Like, it has a metaphysical force, which I think is interesting. Like, they become more aggressive. They get kind of consumed with anger and vengeance. And I want to see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
We also find out what the Mynoghran, like, default citizen would be, which is a homunculus.
And they are not pleasant to look at, nor very, fun to talk to.
Yeah, so clearly it's like, oh, the Mynoghra faction, like a lot of evil factions in games, has very, very drone-like basic citizen units.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons they recruit the elves is that the elves have a lot more going for them as individuals. We discover that they have an awful spawn location in a resource-poor area of a continent that already has 2 large, good-aligned nations in it.
Yep.
And we have to watch all of this take place while the main character is still in his hospital PJs.
Yeah, he hasn't got the really slutty outfit that is in the key art.
I don't think I've seen that yet.
Oh, I'll arrange it for you just now, my dear. Give me a second.
Well, let's keep moving. You need to talk about Shy Hero and Assassin Princesses.
Yeah, so I kind of knew that this was going to be a lot, but it really is a lot. They introduced the fact that this guy is a hero, but he has never had a party before, and he's done a bunch of, like, visualizations of, like, how to talk to people, but the instant he comes up to them, he fumbles it immediately, and it's just like, hello, thank you, I'll protect you. And one of the girls is a daughter of the demon lord who needs to kill him in order to earn her independence. One of them is an assassin who is pretending to be a priest so that she can get a 100 million gold bounty on his head. And one of them is the owner of a pleasure palace who wants to own him.
Oh, God.
All 3 of them try to get alone time with him so that they can handle him in whatever way they see fit, but it doesn't go well. He spends, like, 70% of the episode dazed because of basic contact with girls. And when their cover is about to be blown, like the assassin disguised as a priest like goes, nah, fuck this. This is not worth the money dealing with these two women and this idiot. I'm leaving, as part of a gambit to like get a clean shot on him because she has the guns, and instead interrupts a slave trader because she hates slave traders. And in the process, he manages to save her from the monster that shows up as part of that slave trade deal. And she's just like, I need to distract this man. I'm going to blow him a kiss. He's going to shut down for the next 15 minutes, and I can talk to these other two women who are now showing up and taunting me because I'm blushing at his help. All three of the women are smitten by the end of episode 1, but they will not admit it. And are also all besties by the end of episode 1, and they will not admit it. And I really love that for them.
This sounds a lot like What's Its Sisters that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, it's that, but fantasy bullshit. The Pleasure Palace one was extremely funny because he was already passed out on his feet, and she tries to use her like seduction skill on him and drug him, and nothing works because he decided that he was going to protect them from everything, including himself. So,
God.
And then he passes out eventually again, and they all have a girls' night just playing card games and shit, talking about all their bullshit. It's really funny. Oh, God. I don't want to add another thing to our shared pile, but you would probably also enjoy watching this with me.
Maybe. And scooped up by an S-rank adventurer?
Yeah, it's one of... I saw this referred to as, thank you, my anime list users, for informing me that a term for these is shoelace fantasy, which is based on a copy pasta where it's the concept is basically, oh, this really important guy gets kicked out, and the guy who is being an asshole about it is just like, why aren't my shoelaces tied? They've always been tied before. And I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks as a term for this. But yeah, he gets kicked out of the hero's party because they don't think he's doing anything. He gets scooped up by another party, obviously. And all of them go, hey, you're not bad at this. You're really fucking good at this. Like, I don't think literally anyone else could do what you just did. And he's working on processing that on episode 2, so that's nice. And also, the other party isn't all girls. Mm-hmm. Like, 2 of them are dudes, I think. So it's not like he's opted into a harem, but it's good. We'll see how it goes from there. But yeah, it's
he might have opted into a harem.
Nah, no. Too straight for that.
Yeah, we can hope. So I also watched episode 2, although actually it's episode 1 because the first episode was episode 0 of Kamatsubaki City Under Construction. I need someone to source me an explanation of the signification of the name Laplace in like Japanese media culture, because I've seen a whole bunch of mysterious characters named Laplace, and there's one in this, and I don't know why the name of a 18th century French mathematician.
Because Laplace's demon, notable published articulation of causal determinism, so...
Yes. I mean, I know what Laplace's demon is, and I know that I've seen Laplace's demon referenced, but also Laplace's demon is not a demon.
No, I know, but like that's the sort of ominous, like, oh, this is the mastermind behind something, they'll give someone the name of Laplace.
Anyway, Kamatsubaki City is a little bit Persona 3 in vibe. All the 5 characters have their, like, basically personas, one of which is called Hasta, which is a name out of, like, Lovecraft and proto-Lovecraft cosmic horror stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it has extremely rapid escalation where by the end of this first episode, the protective dome around the entire city has been breached, and they have thousands of the monsters, which previously they've only seen a handful of at a time, pouring in.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that one goes.
Good luck.
Also had episode 2 of Arknights Season 3, which was the backstory on the character W, who's a fan favourite, a me favourite. W stands for World's Strongest Cockroach. And it's all about her and her Wallicule. The first 2 seasons of the Arknights anime, I think you could watch and probably follow without having played the game. This, I have no idea how you would. I could barely follow this when it happened in the game, and this was even harder to follow because they were cramming it down so much. But I love these characters so much. The only objection I have to this episode is that they took the best t-shirt ever designed out. We don't get Closure wearing the t-shirt that's just a picture of a T-Rex on a computer captioned "You are online." It's such a good t-shirt. I need it.
Yeah.
But she's wearing some other t-shirt in this for some reason. Anyway, moving on to older stuff that we've watched this week. We watched episodes 8 and 9 of Chaika, which include... So, last week we had a discussion about how many Chaikas there are.
Mm-hmm.
And you pointed out that we only met 2. In episode 8, we meet a third Chaika, Yellow Chaika.
Except she's not actually a Chaika.
She's not actually a Chaika, but also she's Yellow Chaika. And for various reasons, the characters have to do a circus show, which is just... It's absurd that they can just do that, but they sure do just do it. We got another instance of the recurring bit where any time that the sister character has to leave the brother character alone with Chaika, she makes some sort of threat as if she needs to threaten him to stop him ravishing Chaika, which he's never shown any inclination of doing. She has the weirdest bro complex of any anime character I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it is quite fun. And the other set of characters, the people who are chasing Chaika, have a side scene where they catch a street thief and they start lecturing him about how it's bad to rob people, and he fires back with this whole spiel about what it's actually like for struggling working class people, and it clearly actually shakes the prince, and I really hope that they build on that, because that would be really interesting.
Yeah. Justice won't fill your belly.
We watched 3 episodes of Kimi no Todoke because the second of them, episode 5, ended on a cliffhanger, and I just made whining noises until Val put the second one on.
Yeah, and I was merciful and gave my wife what she needed.
This whole arc of nasty rumors are spreading, and somebody's trying to blame Sawako for spreading them, and her friends don't believe that she's spreading them, but she believes that people will keep trying to hurt her friends with things like nasty rumors as long as she's associated with them. And then we get this, it climaxes in this confrontation in the girls' bathroom between Sawako and the girls who are spreading these rumors. And she's so brave.
Mm-hmm.
She's so brave to stand up to them and so determined to stand up to them, even after they push her on the floor and one of them is standing on her chest. But it does the trick because her 2 friends show up at that moment and hear her continuing to defend them. And then they do manage to get everything cleared up. And lots of crying is done, which is good. And we get another... This goes back to the point about all high school stories being a little bit horror stories. There is an evil blonde girl in this as well, who... hinted pretty clearly is the one responsible for starting the rumors. It feels like we've had the kind of Act 1, Act 2, and the rest of the show is going to be more playing out what that evil blonde girl is up to, which I think is that she's in love with the boy who's the love interest for Sawako. Kazahaya, yes. And is mad that Sawako is getting close to him and is trying to hurt her as a result. And is clearly pretty Machiavellian, so we'll see how that goes. And now we have to talk about The World God Only Knows, Season 3, Episodes 1 to 3. I was promised a thing called the Goddesses Arc, and that sure is the beginning of a thing called the Goddesses Arc. I see why. Fuck you all.
Ooh.
Ask me about the calendar note I made a few hours ago.
Hey, what about that calendar note you made a few hours ago?
So today I listened back to last week's episode of the show, and I, at one point, reflecting on the OVAs, I said something to the effect of, maybe Kama will get fixed in season 3. And you said something about me needing to fix my misandry, which I maintain that, you know, getting bad vibes from Kama Katsuragi is not misandry, but like he sure is, like Yui sure is trying to fix my misandry about Kama. Anyway, I was out and about, I was walking home from town, and so I was, you know, typing kind of awkwardly on my phone to make a note. And what I ended up writing down was just the words Kama, fixed, and misandry with no punctuation.
That's really good.
Anyway, the Goddesses arc is really about Kama encountering the consequences of his actions.
Mm-hmm.
And all these girls are suddenly in love with him. One of who we didn't actually get in season 1 or 2 is Yui, who was originally a kind of princess type and got body swapped with Kama.
They fell down the stairs and they ended up body swapped.
Sure, that fits with the tone of this show.
Loose spirits will do that shit. They've done stranger things, honestly. There's an episode where one of the, I forget her fucking name, Kusunoki, the martial arts girl, her older sister comes back from America, and she's got a loose spirit in her, and she turns into a giant that needs to be contained. Like, it's a whole thing where, like, basically a whole bunch of districts, loose spirit squads, show up to, like, contain her, and it has to be covered up. Which is also why I say that, like, getting to the Goddesses arc, there was escalation in the manga, because they built up to something like that.
Fair. Anyway, after the body swap arc, Yui has decided to become a prince type, and keeps hitting on Kama and making a princess out of him, and in one of these episodes, gifted him a girl's uniform. Mm-hmm. So that's fun.
It sure is. I wonder if that's going to come up this week.
I mean, estrogen could save him.
No, a lot of things could save him. Estrogen would not be one of them.
One thing that definitely can save him is the Goddesses arc is clearly about reaching the point where Kama's, like, strategies that all derive from dating sims just completely fall apart. You know, he tries to set up this elaborate scheme to manage his time so that he can spend time with all 5 of the girls he needs to date on the same day after school. And I think he manages 3 of them technically. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to see him, like, part of why I was uncomfortable with the first 2 seasons is that his strategies always work perfectly. Whereas to see him try and get some good ideas, but also, like, be wildly overambitious and overconfident is really fun.
In seasons 1 and 2, his plans work at great expense to his comfort. Motherfucker got tased like 4 times in season 1.
True. Which is also a thing that happens to rom-com protagonists. See also this show.
Mm-hmm.
There's a nice self-justifying element to that.
Yeah.
We do get a scene. So all the 5 girls who have goddesses in them. There's more than 5. Sorry, 5 is a different show.
There are 6 potential candidates.
Yeah. All the girls who remember who have these goddesses remember him, like, romancing them and kissing them. One of them is Canon, the idol girl. She gets so overwhelmed by this that she decides she has to confess to him.
That is not why she confesses.
Oh God, what is it?
She's being stalked. She gets fucking stalked and then stabbed. And that's the...
She confesses to him before the stabbing.
Yes, but after the stalking. That's why she latches onto him in class, because she's just like, okay, the goddess inside me doesn't believe me, but I need help from literally anyone, and I remember you. Please help.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Caught up to you now. Sorry, yes, you're right. Anyway, she decides she's going to confess to him. She drags him out of the classroom, but stops right outside the classroom door with the whole class watching in order to declare her love.
She is dragged by him, he drags her out of the classroom, and then she stops him to go to have that chat because she needs to get it off her chest, and then they flee the goddess takes over, and then she runs away, trying to get to a safe spot away from anyone, and then gets stabbed. Whoops.
Yes. This is also the part of the show where we get the line, "Please be quiet in the librarian," which is very funny, I suppose.
It was good fodder for me posting as a librarian VTuber, anyway.
Yes. Yeah, especially with the way your polycule expanded at the time.
Heck.
Anyway, some brief mentions of other stuff that got watched this week. We watched the first 2 episodes of Lone Life in Another World, which starts out as kind of classic isekai stuff, and the second episode is super fucking dark because the kids in this class who get isekai'd all turn on each other in some really horrible ways that are definitely going to have horrible payoffs down the line. I have been assured that the really bad kids get their comeuppance, but oof.
It will work out, I promise.
We had 3 more episodes of Kare Kano. We're getting to the climax of that show. She got completely suckered into agreeing to be in the play. There's been this character who's like runs the drama club and has been after her to act in their play for ages because, let me see if I remembered this one right. When this character figures out that she has been maintaining this act of being a good kid at school for ages, the theatre kid decides that she's a genius actress and that they must put her acting to use. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Anyway, this results in her spending more time talking to other boys and her actual boyfriend getting more and more jealous. He's clearly like a pressure cooker at the moment, and I am a bit worried about how that's going to pay off, but plenty of funny stuff keeps happening. It's weird how marginalized he's become in the story, how little of the story is about him. It's just every so often it cuts away to him looking progressively sulkier. I watched episode 45 of Fresh PreCure, which is the episode where the girls have to decide to like go and confront the great evil, and their parents tell them they can't. Their parents basically ground them, and so they decide to sneak out. Because if there's one flaw that this show has, it's that it is really invested in the institution of the family. Like, a lot of the story's action is a proxy for child rearing. And these girls are learning to be good mothers. But, their family do come around to see their point of view and see how important it is for them to go and save the world. And then episode 25 of PatLabor the TV, which is an episode all about how the really kind of gun crazy, mech crazy member of the team sucks and is terrible and makes life hell for everyone, especially his handler. And instead of him suffering any consequences at all, it's only the handler that suffers. Which is too real, frankly, about the kind of privileged male ego that Ota demonstrates. But I think that covers everything.
Yeah, I think so.
This is going to be another nightmare edit. God damn it, why is anime like this?
Sorry for getting you into this, Al.
Anyway, So We're Watching That Right is a project of Slimebug Productions. Intro and outro music is by me, graphics are by Val. You can find us on Blue Sky at slimebug.psky.social, YouTube at youtube.com/@slimebugproductions, join our Discord via the link in the description, and download all episodes at Libsyn, link in the description. Thanks for listening, and until next time, may anime neither betray nor disappoint you.